Yeah. So our today's topic is about dating differences in China and America. At the very beginning, I think firstly let our audience to sign up here. As long as you arrive here, please put on your name and your organization or company's title, please. 那刚刚新到直播间的人可以先开始签到。签到的方式呢，就可以把自己的姓名还有单位名称可以在这儿打一下。姓名加单位名称，这样让我们知道都有哪些人已经进入我们直播间了。Okay, John, please introduce. Joe, please introduce yourself. Okay, as usual.
Okay, so my name is Joe Martins, former software engineer, marketer, business analyst, technical writer, worked with many different Fortune 500 companies as clients. I ended up leaving that to go into helping manufacturers in China to sell to the West. And it was during that time that I discovered the need for helping people throughout China to improve their conversational English. So that's a lot of what I focus on now, is improving conversational English in China.
Can you speak loudly and your voice maybe for me basically okay? Some audience yesterday mentioned.
Oh sure.
Yeah, and yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better.
Great.
And okay, also let me introduce myself. I studied biology, geology, geomicrobiology in different universities. In Northwestern University in China and China University of Geosciences, China's Academy of Sciences, Miami University in the United States, Peking University. Anyway, studied a long time. And also I worked as a senior high school English teacher, and also worked for the globally largest mining company BHP Billiton as a geologist and interpreter, and also worked for China Geological Survey responsible for international cooperation, and also run my personal company Suntrans. In the past 1 decade, I have been in more than 30 countries to help Chinese companies to purchase mines and oil fields, and also help Chinese some students to polish up their academic papers. And nowadays for Suntrans, the headquarters is located at the gate for Tsinghua University in Beijing, and also we have another consulting company, that is Suntrans Consulting LLC in New York, and we have several branch offices located respectively in Toronto, Canada, and Kampala, Uganda in Africa, and in Lahore, Punjab province in Pakistan. So this is what we are doing currently. And on the one hand, we provide translation in geology and mining. On the other hand, we also hold some international conferences such as China International Mining Development Conference and China International Translation Conference. And recently, in the past 2 weeks, Joe and I get together to collaborate in providing some program. The purpose is to help our Chinese to improve our oral English and also enhance the capability of oral translation. And so today our topic is dating difference in China and America. So Joe, please tell me, why do you choose the topic?
I think that culturally, when I'm talking to people in China, they always, everyone's fascinated by how things are done elsewhere. And dating, marriage, divorce is one of those areas that's fascinating to people because they want to know, how do other people do this in other countries? So what we originally were going to do was try to cover all three, dating, marriage, and divorce. But there's so much information that instead we'll do dating today, and then on a separate date we can cover the marriage and divorce topics. But I think together all of it will give some insight into relationships in America and the difference between that and in China.
Okay, that's good. Now let's move to the first part. When do Americans begin to date?
So it's going to depend on the family.
Okay.
If any of you were with us yesterday, one of the things I said is that Americans are made up of many different nationalities. And that means that, you're going to have Chinese families, French families, Irish families, and so forth living together in America. And they all have different ideas about when their children should even be allowed to date, if at all. So for young people, meaning under the age of 18, the parents generally decide, but the parents don't always know. Some children start trying to date before their parents even know they're dating.
Okay.
So I would say it's typical between maybe 12 and 16 years old at the earliest. And then for adults, it's anytime after 18. Every age group is actively dating.
Okay, so it seems much earlier than those in China.
Yes, I heard some families in China, or many families. Is it true that dating is basically not maybe prohibited, or at least discouraged before college?
So I have a question. So usually especially in senior high school and middle school, do you think it's if their teenagers are trying to make special friends, their parents will refuse them or stop them from dating? Or generally speaking, how about Americans' attitudes to dating at the age in the middle school?
So middle school, remember, I think I covered a little bit yesterday that dating is a little different with younger people, right? It's not so much about intimacy. It's more about, think of it as a close friend, right? So it's a boy that they like or a girl that they like, that they might want to go to movies, they might want to invite over to have dinner with family, but the parents would prefer to know. The parents don't always know. If a 13 or 14-year-old hangs out after school, with friends, the parent won't necessarily know that maybe there is a boy or girl they hang out with during that time after school, before they get home, because parents in America, not all of them keep such a close eye on their children like Chinese families. We tend to not watch them so closely.
Okay. I can tell you several stories about my experience. When I was at the senior high school, the first grade 1, I remember that is about 1992. That is to 28 years ago. Well, I was grade 1 in middle school, and our head teacher taught us not for the whole class about 70 students, and he taught us not to make friends, not to make special friends, and if on camp at school, if the head teacher find some schoolmates find a boy and a girl always stay together, they may told their parents, you must stop. They may affect their study, and it's true. But most of the special friends maybe have had to separate each other, or just underground. They are special friends. They were special friends, but keep certain relationship just underground. But I remember one boy and one girl. Their scores always list ranks number 1 and number 2. They are the best students in our class, but they are special friends. One boy and one girl. So they are good examples for other students. Even though our head teacher taught us, you should separate, and you cannot become desk mates. But they two still stay together. As long as the class not taught by our head teacher, they will still exchange seats and get together. Finally, no way, they had to still stay together. About 20 years ago, I became a teacher. I graduated from Northwest Normal University and back to Gansu Province in Donghua Middle School. I became a senior high school English teacher, and I found these students maybe at that time the intimacy relationship became more and more popular compared to the times when I was a student. And even some students wrote love letters very nicely, very kindly. Even some of them forgot when they had to submit their assignments. And occasionally I found, the love letters. Actually, the boy was trying to write the letter to the other girl. Maybe he forgot to give that girl, but put it into the assignment. And on the one hand, it's not allowed for students to keep intimacy. On the other hand, I have to admire they have very high level regarding writing love letters. So anyway, it is for these adolescents. Maybe it's no more. I don't think experts have the same attitude. Sometimes it's still controversial. If they keep good relationship, maybe we'll improve their studies and have good relationship. Sometimes if the parents' attitude is very strongly or strictly forbidding the relationship, maybe originally their love or some kind of feelings are still very pure. But if we strongly or strictly ban the relationship development, maybe it will cause to some problems. It's pretty common. So I'm not sure how about your experience or these issues in America.
Well, so one of the things that we need to separate
Yeah.
the idea that studies and relationships cannot exist together, right?
Right.
Many parents don't know why they really have the rules that they have, except for one thing.
Right.
If you ask them, they'll say, because my parents did this. Not because it was the right thing, not because it was the best thing, the optimal thing, but because my parents did this. They never questioned, never asked, is it right? Is it good? So studies, there are young people who are good time managers.
Right.
They have good focus. Those young people who grow into adults with the same capability, with the same behavior, they can manage relationship and work. There are adults today, who cannot successfully manage a relationship and work together. One usually suffers, right? You'll always have at least one friend, at least one, that when they focus on work, their relationship is not doing well. When they focus on their relationship, work is not doing well. It's the same with children. Some are good at it, and some are bad. But as parents in America, for us to say, oh, everybody cannot have a relationship until they are 18, until they are 20, we see it as why? Why is that a rule? It seems very arbitrary.
Right, very arbitrary.
Yes, it's not based on any science. It's not based on any fact. It's based on my parents did it to me.
Right.
And so to me that's a very poor reason.
Right.
So there is no one right answer. Yesterday we said each child is an individual.
Right.
And you have to look at your child and say, okay, my daughter, she seems very responsible.
Right.
She's very intelligent. She's very independent. If I allow her to go see a boy on a date, let's say at the movies, but she also agrees that she will not let her grades suffer.
Okay.
Schoolwork must come first. But if I see that her schoolwork suffers, then I say we need to either stop or lessen the dating because school is now suffering.
Okay.
But if she does both and her grades are great, why would I say to her, no, you cannot see this boy. Your grades are awesome. You're doing very well, but you cannot see this boy. To an American, that makes no sense. So, and remember, this is, when I say American, I mean many types of families from many backgrounds.
Yeah.
But generally, they will say, as long as you can promise you're not going to let your grades suffer, then we're okay.
Nowadays, in the society, seems much understandable to the so-called early cuff love, early love between among the teenagers, and I'm wondering the attitudes from the teachers and the schools. If two attitudes, one about early love, I mean maybe just 12 or 13 years or 15 years old. How about the head teachers or the school's attitudes? And if are they allowed if some relationship, even teenagers sex happens, so schools attitudes or policies, can you tell me some attitudes and policies?
Well, the schools in the U.S. don't usually get involved.
Don't get involved in
relationships. Yeah, it's seen as a parental responsibility. In fact, a school is not going to report. If they see a boy and a girl together, unless they're doing something illegal, they are not going to report anything to the parents.
This is their private issues, not for schools.
Exactly. That's right. Americans generally see this as it's between the children and the parents, and the parental policies. As a parent, we say you cannot have eyes in the back of your head.
Right.
You cannot see
yes.
everything.
Yes, understandable.
So
yeah.
When you're at home or you're at work, and your children aren't with you, you have to trust that they're doing the right things, and right. What is right? Right. In we like to believe as parents that we're right, but we're not always right.
You're right. so
like to believe it.
Generally speaking, Americans, parents, and schools don't strictly forbidden the keeping falling in love or maybe sex is not always have the same opinion. At least keeping falling in love is still okay.
Yes, because sex falls into a different category in U.S. law, in American law. Underage sex is against the law, depending on the state. So now that becomes a legal issue, and a school would, if they caught two children, say two 15-year-olds doing something sexual together, they would report it to the parents and to the school. But that's because now it's crossed over from a simple relationship to sexual relationship for people under the age of 18.
Okay. In China, also it should be banned, totally banned, and entirely. And so for American parents, usually they don't. How about usually they also have some sex education at the age of for 15 or 20?
So it will depend. There's two parts to sex education in America. One part is parent conversation with their children. That can occur whenever the parents feel comfortable having that conversation. If it's 10 years old, 12, 15, it's the parent's decision. The school, the government does not get involved with that. The second one is the formal school education. Each state decides when that education will occur and what will be discussed, what topics. Some states, some systems are more thorough, and some are horrible. Some states give information to the children that is not accurate. It basically, the more, and I can't say this is universally true, but chances are good, if the state is mostly a rural, small population, the type of sex education in that state is not the same quality as in the more densely populated, call them the metropolitan states.
Okay.
And it's got to do with everything from their religious belief to their personal belief to their own ignorance and lack. Some parents, there are adults in this world that don't understand sex education.
Okay.
They're teaching their children the wrong behaviors, the wrong habits. So, again, there's the school, there's the parents, and together that forms the basis of informing the young people about the good and bad things about intimacy.
Okay. I'm wondering at which age at school these children will be taught about sex education. Usually,
Depends.
Yeah. For most
usually
students and most schools,
it's going to start between 12 and 14.
12 and 14.
But yeah, there are some places that will wait longer, but usually you can give basics. Sex education, you don't have to tell a student everything
Right.
at the age of 10, 12. You can give them a high level understanding at a younger age, and then when you feel that their brain has matured enough, you can increase, go into more detail and discuss more advanced understanding at an older age. And again, that's dictated by what the parents want to discuss and what the schools formally discuss.
Okay. Now let's move to the second part, second slide. Where or how do Americans meet? Okay.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, what I've done here is I've put them in order from this is modern day. 50 years ago, this would look a little different. There would be no online. But I put them in order from most popular to least popular based on 2020. So the most popular is now online. 30 years ago, that would not have been true. The most popular 30 years ago would have been family and friends. You meet through people you know. However, this is today. So it's everywhere. Remember a few presentations back, you and I discussed the idea of socialization. In America, we talk to people everywhere. If I were a young man on a metro and I see someone that I just want to start talking to her, I might say something and say hello, and that could lead to a relationship later. But you don't know unless you say something. If she's not interested, you'll say, "Sorry, I'm not interested." But the reason that we can kind of meet anywhere is because we have conversations everywhere. There's nobody. It could be as a young man, I could have been at a laundromat doing my laundry, and there is a woman next to me drying her clothing or folding her clothing, And I might say, hi, I'm Joe. What's your name? At a laundromat. Can happen anywhere. And by the way, this is why when we talk about having conversation, the importance of conversation, this is why. The fact that in China, there's so many parents trying to, say, oh, you should date this girl. You should date this girl. The kids would find these people on their own simply by being more open and willing to have conversation on metro, on a bus, at the bus stop, at a restaurant. I see, in fact, when I go to restaurants in China, I see groups of women, groups of men, and I want to go over to the tables and say, hey, guys, you see all those pretty girls over there? Why aren't you talking to them? What are you, crazy? Go talk. And then I want to say to the girls, hey, there's guys over there. How come you're not saying hello? Go talk. Go talk. What is the worst that could happen? They say no? Who cares? Move on. That's not the person for you. Don't worry. If someone rejects you at one of these places, at work, at school, if they say, I'm not interested, we in English we say, it is not the end of the world. It's not. It means life will go on, and go talk to someone else. Don't let the fact that someone rejected you influence your courage or your confidence. Just go back out and say hi to someone else. Just do it. I have had many conversations where it went nowhere. We maybe end up as friends, not in a relationship. So it's okay. That's even a great outcome. You might end up as friends with your colleague or your classmate that is a female or a male. That's okay. In the U.S., there are many men who have female friends and women who have male friends. And their boyfriends and girlfriends, if they have good character, if they have strong character, they don't care because they're not jealous. Because they say, oh, I'm the boyfriend. He is just a friend.
Yeah, I can also tell you some stories in China. In ancient times, maybe several hundreds of years ago, in China, one husband was allowed to have more than one, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 wives. And at that time, so you even now in my
that's a lot of expenses.
A lot of expenses. Even now in African countries and in like Papua New Guinea, many countries, Pakistan, one husband also allowed to is allowed to have more than one, maybe 4 or 3 different wives. Even maybe 2 years ago, I went to Singapore to visit one minister from Papua New Guinea, and the minister from mining and petroleum ministry, and he said he had 9 wives. It's so it's really different from China and America. And in ancient China, usually the bride couldn't see the groom until they get married. On that night, she had the opportunity to see her husband. So just because their parents arranged the management, and they were not allowed to see each other in advance. Maybe from since the last 100 years, gradually in China allowed to make special friends by yourself instead of always arranged by our parents. Okay, this is a great progress. And nowadays, in some rural areas, this young generation still their marriage are still arranged by their parents. But for most places, especially the developed cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, in these places, obviously people have the freedom to make special friends by themselves instead of by parents. Okay, so here at where and how they meet, I just give you my suggestions. The phenomenon in China. Okay, go ahead with your topic about this.
Yeah. So now that we've covered, where they meet and kind of when they start dating, on the next slide, we talk about what do the parents think.
Yeah.
We started talking about it a moment ago. Parents generally, it's going to depend on your background.
Yeah.
Where you came from, where your parents came from, what you were taught, right or wrong, is going to influence what you think about children dating.
Yeah.
Now, when I say children, even if I was 70 years old and talking about my 50-year-old, I would still call him or her my children, my child. So when I say children here, I'm talking, it doesn't matter what age, 13, 23, 43, if they are your children. So what do parents think? It depends on the age. The younger they are, parents don't really want a 10-year-old dating. It's almost kind of comical funny, because they don't even when a 10-year-old in America says, I have a boyfriend, they don't even know what that really means. All that means to the child, they don't apply an adult definition to boyfriend. Forget your definition. When a 10-year-old girl or boy says, I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, all they mean is, it's this person that I like. And, usually they like them because maybe they get along when they play with their toys. Maybe they sit down and watch a movie at one of their family's homes and they laugh together. To them, that is a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Just don't apply an adult definition to it. As they get older, they begin to mature enough to understand, there is a deeper relationship that is implied by a boyfriend, by being a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But that comes with time. You don't want to force upon them an adult definition and say, you're 10. You cannot have a boyfriend at 10. That's because you're thinking like an adult. You've forgotten what it's even like to be a child and see the world as a child sees the world.
Yeah.
So the parents, we tend to put everything in the context of adulthood.
Yeah.
And we need to step back just a little and say, if my son or daughter has fun, just so much joy, hanging out with another boy or girl, opposite sex, to just have fun. There is nothing wrong with this. In American life, we don't see anything wrong with it because it's innocent. It's children, not adults. At 16, okay, a little bit different. Now you do have to be concerned about issues like sex. Are they going to be intimate? You don't want your daughter to get pregnant. You don't want your son to get someone pregnant. But that's a discussion that you have with them when they're a little older. Maybe they're 13, 14. But if they want to have a boyfriend, girlfriend at 10, it's a playmate. Think of it as a playmate, not, they call it boyfriend or girlfriend. It's a playmate. So that's how we kind of view it as a parents in America, especially for young people. Once they hit the age of 18, once they reach 18, we have zero say. I mean, some parents, some mothers, especially mothers, but they want to be involved a little bit. But we have no say. They can see who they want, when they want, unless they are living at home with their parents. Then, usually, parents will say, look, we have some rules. I know that you're 18 years old now.
Okay.
And you're an adult.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can tell you some when the children are we cannot say the children, when a boy and a girl are dating each other, and gradually sometimes they may meet their parents. How do they address their the opposite as parents, uncle or aunt or yeah.
Good question. So usually, the most respectful way is to use Mr. or Mrs. and their last name, the family name. So, in my case, a young boy might say, "Hi, Mr. Martins. I'm here to pick up Emily, my daughter." So they would say, "Mr. Martin." In your case, they would say, "Mr. Liu."
Yeah.
In America. Or Mrs. if it was your wife.
Okay.
But some kids can be disrespectful, and you correct them. They will say your first name, and no Mr., no Mrs. And usually my response would be, you can call me Mr. Martins.
I can tell you some stories. Usually, in China, different places have different habits or customs for customers. For example, I remember the first time when I met my parents-in-law. Actually, at that time, we were my girlfriend and I was just a friend, not got married yet, and. For the first time, I directly called my parents-in-law dad and mom, because usually, according to Chinese habits, usually after marriage we can address dad or mom, but I did this just my way is shorten the relationship. And I remember because my girlfriend was from Liaoning province. When I went to her home, and I was wondering what I should call uncle or daddy or just in a split of a second, I just called daddy and mommy. and my mother-in-law felt a little bit surprised, and she immediately put my father and to the other room and asked, so should we give him some money? In China there is a habit that is correct the address. In the very beginning, we should call uncle or aunt, but as long as you engaged or get married, you should change your course, change your the address from uncle to aunt and into maybe your mom and dad, and it's really different. And for me, I think my way is immediately shorten the relationship without the transitional space and time. And as a result, we soon got married. Maybe just from the first time until we got married, 2 or 3 months later. But before I met my parents-in-law, maybe my girlfriend and I had been together at least almost 3 years. So that's why I think I directly call my my father-in-law into father or dad. That's different. And in America, seems maybe always directly the name.
So usually it's Mr. and Mrs. with the last name, the family name. But when certain mother-in-laws and father-in-laws develop a very close bond with their son-in-law or daughter-in-law, sometimes they will be okay with, or even say to their son-in-law or daughter-in-law, you can call me mom, you can call me dad. But it always feels, for Americans, it feels a little awkward in the sense that we have our own mom and dad. So to call them mom and dad, I never did that.
Yes.
It didn't feel right, but that's a very individual. Remember, because of the individualism in America, each person approaches this a little bit differently. But I would say, small number say mom and dad. Much larger number will always address a senior person, Mr. or Mrs.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seems very, very formal and respectful.
It is.
Yeah.
Respect. Hey, Mr. Martins, how you doing? Even if it's for fun, right? Meaning you're going on a trip together with your daughter and her son-in-law. Even if it's a vacation, out of respect, he may say, hey, Mr. Martins, do you want to, go fishing? It seems formal, but it's still kind of casual too, because it's the context of the relationship. It's not boss and employee, it's father and son-in-law. And so even though the title is more formal sounding, it's still done out of respect, even in non-formal settings.
Okay, that's good. And about the next slide, what do young adults think about their parents being involved?
How about this? Young Americans do not love having their parents involved. They hate it. They don't want to know your opinion. Maybe if they have a really close relationship, they might want their parents' approval. To some people, that matters. Your 20-year-old daughter may really, really, really want your approval.
Okay.
However,
before you talk more, let's ask our audience how about their attitudes. When we are making special friends, should we ask our parents involved in our in the issue? From 1 to 10, you can give the number. If you think from the very beginning your parents should involve in that, you can give 10. The scores 10. If almost none, just 0. Please tell us the degree of your parents involved in the in your falling in love or the relationship. 那么现在呢，我们让所有的咱们的听众可以做一个互动，就是在你跟找男女朋友的过程中，你父母的参与程度，如果从一开始你认为就应该参与，从头到尾都参与了，或者应该参与，你给10分；如果认为几乎不应该参与，那是0分；如果应该一半一半，中间呢是5分。那你从0到10分，你大家打一下分数，你认为在男女朋友在谈恋爱的过程中，父母应该参与的程度应该占几分？什么时间应该参与？我们让所有人可以给30秒钟来互动一下。Okay, it's time for us to give our personal opinions regarding the relationship when we are making special friends. How about the degree of our parents involved in our special relationship? Okay, 20 or 30 seconds. You can sip some water. Okay, now let's come back to our conversation. And some people say 5, some people say 0. They don't have their parents involved in the relationship. Okay, go ahead with your opinion.
So, when I was growing up, the last thing that I really wanted was my mother or father telling me who I could see, who I should like, why I should like them. I didn't care if she had amazing grades in school. I didn't care if she was going to a good college or an average college. I didn't care if her parents were wealthy, poor. I cared about whether I liked her and whether she made me happy and how we got along together. Everything else in my mind as a young man was, we will figure that out later. If we have average career and average income, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. It just means later, maybe you have to work harder. But those factors played no role in it. And for the average young person in America, the first thing they notice is, do I like you? Am I attracted? Do I like the way you look? Do I think you're funny? Do you make me smile? Do we have things in common? Things
Right.
we enjoy doing together? Those were the most important. And in fact, even into adulthood, 20-year-old, 25, 30, sure, in our mind, we might think a little bit about what type of job you have, what what your goal is in life, what you believe, what your beliefs and your values are. But we definitely, and I don't mean everyone, I mean most Americans, it's not about you went to a particular college, you got particular grades, you saved particular amount of money. There's a small percentage of the population that cares about that because it's about the relationship first, and the financials and stability come after. If you have, we believe, from a very young age, if you have a strong foundation for a relationship, that no matter if you are rich or poor, you stay. No matter if you like chocolate and she likes a vanilla ice cream, if you have strong relationship, that's what matters most. Everything else you can work on. It's doable. If you have great jobs, you have amazing education, you have a lot of money in the bank, but you lack the relationship, usually that does not work out very well.
Yeah.
Because it's like a business transaction at that point, right? It's not a relationship. You might as well be two businesses. And you say, hey, you're a profitable business. Ooh, you're a profitable business. You are a very popular business. Yes, you are very popular. Why don't we do business together? We don't see this as a good basis for a long-term relationship. But I will, in another presentation, we will also learn how that is imperfect. Both ways, looking at it like a relationship, looking at it like a business, they have their pros and cons, and both ways sometimes result in broken relationships. So it's not perfect. I'm not saying that this approach is better. It's different. And it's just the way that in America, we have engaged in relationships for many years. And so the children really parents.
So just ago, you talked about the values. When a male and a female get started to date each other for love, what's the most important factors? Can you list some? At least, so some people maybe think a lot about family background. Some people about money, some about job, some about if you are humorous enough, or sometimes we consider if you are healthy enough, not matter especially, and some people just think as long as we are getting along with each other, we feel comfortable. That's okay. So at least, how about your values? Can you talk about your?
So, when you're young, and it depends on your family and your upbringing. But when you're young, you tend to look at pure attraction.
good looking, as long as attractive, good looking, it's number one.
She's so pretty. Yes, she's so pretty. She is very popular. It's attraction. As we mature, as our brains mature, you look at more important issues. Do we see the world the same way? Do we share value, share belief? And as you age a little more, it may be about stability. If you're 40 years old, 50 years old, I'm not saying that you won't look at attractiveness.
Yeah.
But I am saying that things like stability, being together for other reasons, including financial, because you're getting older. And remember, unlike Chinese society, where the parents might look at the children and say, they are going to take care of us when we're older. In American society, the parents are mostly on their own. So they want to rely, husband and wife, on each other.
Yeah.
They want, they want financial stability together.
Yeah.
And if the children can help, if they want to help, great. But they count on each other for that stability. So throughout life, you do want someone you are attracted to, at least a little, But if you go, by the time you're older, relationship matters, stability, health. These are all more important issues to older people who want to get in relationships.
Okay. Here about some special boys and girls about their values. I have some questions.
Okay.
We can take several examples. One is about President Trump. His young wife is much young, almost his daughter's age, right?
Yeah.
Very young. And do you think
older than his daughter, but younger than him? Yeah.
And another couple, that is Macron, France president.
Oh.
His wife is much older than him. Yeah. And
well.
Yeah. Do you think such kind of very old and very young? I mean, just the age. So and in China's history, Sun Zhongshan, I'm not sure if you know Sun Zhongshan, before Chairman Mao, another very topist leader, political leader, Sun Zhongshan, and Sun Qinglin. We know the couple was very also the gap, very gap. Actually, Sun Zhongshan's friend, the daughter became his wife. That's to say, almost his son. But they also have very harmonious life. So, can you talk about your opinion? Maybe in some degree, the relationship is complementary. One is very, for some young ladies love adults, females, males, or some successful businessmen or political leaders. Do you think the relationship is stable? And some people think that if the female and male are very similar, for example, they have the similar education background, similar living conditions, and their salaries are also similar, and then they will get together much easier. So, in your opinion, which is more common and more stable, much stable? One is the gap between ages. The other is similarity or complementary is more stable.
So let's look at similarity.
Yeah.
There's an English saying, opposites attract, like a magnet, right?
Yeah.
Opposite ends of a magnet. So I won't say that it is universally true, but people can complement each other. Let's say the husband likes to spend money. The wife likes to save money, which would be very unusual. But let's say that is the two. They can balance each other. If you have two people who only save, there are times where they do need to spend. Maybe they should take a vacation, and they don't want to because they're frugal, very frugal. And so they forego some happiness just to save money. On the other hand, if you had two spenders, maybe they go into a lot of debt because neither one controls the other's spending.
Yeah.
So complementary people can form balance. You know, this person likes to plan everything. This person is spontaneous and does things just, on a whim. We say on a whim, meaning now, because I feel like it. They too can balance each other. If you have two planners or two people who only do things on a whim, usually it can the cause for problems when you have that extreme. But it's not an absolute certainty. That this is just a point of view in American life, finding balance. The opposites attract. Now, on age, it depends on so many factors, but generally speaking, the men are usually about the same age or a little older. The extremes, older woman, much older woman, or much older man, is much more rare. Part of it is the generational difference in thinking. A 60-year-old man does not see the world the same way as a 20-year-old woman.
Yes.
They just
20 years maybe still progressive and enthusiastic and full of passion and full of curiosity. But for adult at the age of 60, maybe totally different, much more quiet, maybe.
Well, think about energy level.
Yeah.
If you have someone who is 50,
Yeah.
someone who is 20, maybe for a couple weeks, maybe for a couple months, that person will feel, wow, I love the energy of this young woman or young man. That is going to get very old very quick.
Yeah.
Because at 50, not every 50-year-old, but many might say, oh, wow, it was nice for a couple of weeks, but I don't want to go hiking 20 miles a day.
Yeah.
I don't want to go jump out of an airplane. I don't want to go swimming with sharks in Australia.
Yeah.
It's a difference in the energy level, a difference in world perspective. So big age gaps are really difficult to maintain.
Yeah.
If money is the only reason why those two people stay together,
Right.
I can't say that's wrong, but I can say that's very not strong. It may not be wrong, but it's definitely not strong.
Right.
It's a relationship based purely on finance. You think about it. The next person with more money could easily take that person away from you.
Yeah.
Because it's not about anything else. It's about money. It's like a business transaction. And if you're okay with that, I can't tell you you're wrong. I can just say it's probably not going to last, but I can tell you in my own personal relationship, I have dated women that were 10 years older and women that were at least 6 to 10 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there are positive and negative. As you get older,
Mm-hmm.
you see the world in a way that young person or older person, they might not share it with you. If they do, let's say you're 20, but you think like you're 40.
Mm.
Okay, maybe your thinking at 20 is the equivalent of someone twice your age. And then maybe you share some similarities with an old person. But that's not often, and it's usually not sustainable unless you are naturally that way. So in the U.S., people will, as they age, they look at people the same age and they say, "Ugh, they're so negative. They're so pessimistic," because they've seen a lot. They've experienced a lot, of course.
Right.
They look at young people and they say, "Oh, look, they're full of energy, full of optimism. Everything is positive." Because they're young. They have not experienced enough of the world. Give them 20 years and we will beat all the optimism out of them. But seriously, it's just perspective. I have dated older, I have dated younger, and if you're compatible, if you enjoy things together, if you see the world similarly, if you complement each other, your personalities, your characteristics, then it can work. But I don't think that there is a rule for it. Nothing that can be applied to everyone.
Oh, okay. I have another several questions. One is just from the film movies, we can say seems sexual relationship very easily happen between boyfriends and girlfriends, even not really girlfriend and girlfriends. So I have some very sensitive questions. One is it true? I mean, before marriage and after marriage, sexual. One question is, one man may dating a lot of the different girlfriends, and on average, usually one male will make how many girlfriends before he formally get married? This is the first. Okay, you can answer this question.
I don't know the statistics.
Just by some common knowledge.
Yeah, based on the circle of friends that I keep, they usually at least a half dozen.
Half a dozen.
At least.
At least. You mean formal special friends?
Yeah, because usually the first couple of people, even though you might date, you might be intimate
Yeah.
But you're still learning because you don't know really what you like, what you dislike, what you prefer in another person. It takes a few tries to find that person. Now, there are exceptions. There are people who will meet the very first woman they meet in high school, very first man, and they are married after high school, and they stay together their entire life. That is as rare as a black swan. It is just something you do not see very frequently. Usually, you will have dated several people before you commit to something like marriage. And again, I have a sister. She is married for more than 30 years to the man she met in high school.
Oh.
I have another sister that had more boyfriends than I had friends.
Yeah.
So, it two different people with two very different perspectives on life. Right or wrong, I cannot say that one was better than the other because both of them today have been married a long time. Both have been married 20 to 30 years. And both are in, I think, good relationships, but they came to their relationship by different paths. So there is no one path to get to a good relationship.
Okay, I want to confirm one thing with you. It's said that before marriage, usually boys and girls maybe have a lot of friends or many times, but as long as they get married, they just stay with their family every day and don't have more special friends anymore. And most seems totally different people. Is it true or not true in America?
Can you describe it again? You're saying.
I mean.
Oh, go ahead.
What the same person? It's very common phenomenon that it says that in America, before marriage, usually maybe a lot of friends and a lot of sexual relationships with different people. But as long as they have got married, maybe the person always very loyal to the family and to his to the whole family, to his wife, and don't have more sexual relationship with anyone. It's a very common phenomenon, or not really?
No, unfortunately, and we'll talk about this also in a future presentation.
Yeah.
The divorce rate in the U.S. is about 40%, approximately. 4 out of 10 marriages fail. And no matter how they got married, whether they got married young, whether they got married older, whether they had strong bond with their father-in-law and mother-in-law, or maybe they argued all the time with their father-in-law or mother-in-law. But the result is still the same, approximately 4 in 10, for so many reasons, and we will talk about that too in a future video. But so the amount of people that you have relationships with before marriage in America doesn't really have much of an influence on the quality of the relationship with the family. Think of as a parent, as long as a man treats my daughter with respect, loves her, cares about her, and doesn't go, have other relationships, then we're good. We'll have a good relationship. But if that person decides that he's going to disrespect and go have other relationships, that will quickly, like that, turn me from liking him
Yeah.
to absolutely hating him. And so you can, in an instant, in a click of your fingers, a snap, you can change the nature of a relationship, no matter how good it was. In fact, we say that it takes years to build trust, years.
Right.
But you can destroy it in an instant.
In a split of a second.
Once you do,
Yeah.
yes, and once you do, it is almost impossible to ever get that trust again.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful.
But seems religion, especially these Christian, seems they have very high loyalty to just because of the religion. It makes their marriage much more stable compared to those who don't have don't have religions.
In the U.S., it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The divorce rate is about the same. Yeah.
Okay.
It's because remember what I said yesterday.
Okay.
In America, while 75+% of Americans will say that they're religious, how many are really, truly committed to their faith? So, part of it is that they say in America, they say they're religious, but are they? And I think that that's why you see some, still high divorce rate, is because religion or no religion, people are, for many reasons, they are breaking up.
Yeah.
Whether they're dating or they're married, they're breaking up.
Okay, here from this slide you talked about you want to compare courting and dating. Can you tell us? Yeah.
So here's an interesting convergence of Chinese tradition and more Western. Courting is when your parents have more say, more oversight.
Okay.
If the boy is going to come to the house to see your daughter,
yeah,
they are never out of your sight.
Yeah.
They watch TV, you watching. They eat at the table with the family. It's always everybody together. You don't allow them to go on a date by themselves. You might go with them, and they're going to hate you for it. But that has been true in America for courting goes back a very long time. My parents, during their generation, courting was more popular than dating. But about the 1960s, that began to change a little bit more. Dating is the kids go where they want, pretty much when they want, as long as the parents know. Although, remember, I said parents don't always know. And so they have more freedom in it. The parents aren't always watching.
Okay.
And so if someone says, my daughter is being courted by a young man, that usually means that you are monitoring that relationship closely.
Okay. For my understanding, sounds like the special friends relationship can be divided into 4 stages. One is at the very beginning, as dating, to know each other. The second stage is courting. Courting, that means formally show love. Oh, I love you. The third stage means, I guess, is engage. Engage, that means two families, or even get together, a lot of friends, colleagues get together, or the fourth stage is a wedding, the wedding ceremony. So do you think this is the fourth stage?
Yeah, that's about right. And the other one, of course, is you can switch courting and dating, right, and achieve the same results. You can have that dating, engagement, and then marriage. But yes, that is the general procession, the progression from initial attraction to marriage.
Usually seems courting scenario seems very exhilarating. That is a large group of people get together and show, oh, this is diamond, and one leg is new down, and seems very formal. Applause. So we can watch movie, and that kind of phenomena or scenario happens very frequently. So the courting. The courting is extremely important, very formal usually, or just decided by everyone, case by case.
Well, remember, more traditional families, more traditional ones, will usually require that their kids, no matter if they are 14 years old or 17 years old, that they are always within sight.
Yeah,
I'm watching you. So, but if they're over 18, courting is slightly different. And if, let's say, you have a 20-year-old daughter, and she's dating a 22-year-old man, she might bring him home to meet her parents for the father's approval, maybe, if she is very traditional.
To see parents, that means courting, formal for courting.
That, yeah, because get my permission, But that used to be many relationships, and dating was like this. Now it's like this. Fewer people. There are not many women and men that are asking their parents' permission to date. They would like that you like their date, but it's not required. In fact, and this is very strange, there are children or young adults that the more you like the person they're dating, the less they like that person. So if there's a young man that you don't, let's say for my daughter, there's a young man dating her. If I want her to break up with him, I will show how much I really like him. I really like him. Because she will go, oh, my dad likes him. That's not good. I'm going to break up with him. If I hate him, my daughter will really love him.
What will happen?
Then I just have to decide. If I really hate him, what do I do? I pretend I really like him.
But actually, after he left, maybe you will tell your daughter, "Oh, I hit him."
Maybe, but it's weird. I know. It sounds counterintuitive, right? It's like, wow. Wait a minute, Joe. You're saying if your daughter likes him, but you don't like him, then show him how much you like him so that your daughter hates him.
You have some tricks.
Very confusing. So it depends. But here's the thing. You need to know your daughter. You need to know. And the only way in American life we learn about our daughters and what our daughters like and don't like in men
Mm.
when they're dating at a young age, 14, 15, 17. By the time our daughters are 18, 19 years old, we have an idea of what kind of boys she likes.
Mm.
Same thing with son. We know what kind of girls he likes, and whether or not we disapprove of that kind of boy or girl. So as a parent, you can develop a strategy. If you really want to get involved, even though your kids don't want you to, you think of it as a bit of a game, right?
Yeah.
You have to decide if the boy she brings home to meet you, if you like him.
Yeah.
Do you want her to stay with him? If you do, well, depending on your daughter, if she wants your approval, if she's that type of girl, then you will need to like him, like the boyfriend. If she's rebellious and she's that type of girl, then you will need to like the boyfriend so that she hates the boyfriend.
Yes, interesting.
Very confusing.
Yeah, very complicated headache.
Yes,
for parents really feel headache.
The first time for an American family, the first time your daughter or son says that they like someone, I go, oh, I'm getting a headache. I don't want to think about this at all. But now I have to.
You have to face up to the headache.
Yeah. New stage of childhood, dating. So yeah, that's generally what parents and children think of each other in American families.
Yeah. Okay. For coding and verse dating, do you want to talk more, or let's move to the next slide?
No, I think that covers it. Just understand that courting is more parental oversight.
Okay.
Dating is.
Yeah. Let's move to where do Americans go on dates?
The possibilities are endless, but popular places are things like the movies, going to a restaurant or a bar, going to a beach, hiking, maybe hiking in the mountains, going to a zoo, things that everybody's kids do. Even in China, they may be very much the same. It's whatever is the interest of the kids, right? If your daughter or son enjoys bicycling, maybe they go on a date on their bicycles. So it's everywhere. If you're wondering, there is what's popular. Usually, going out to eat is good. Coffee for older people, coffee, and the reason is when you're older, 25, 35, 45, you want to be able to understand if there's chemistry between the two of you. A coffee is a very short event, or it can be short. So if you don't really like that person, you
don't have to pretend.
Yes, for an entire dinner. Oh my God. Imagine at 2 hours with this person. So usually older people will say, "Hey,
let's have a coffee
for a drink,
and see if chemistry will produce."
Exactly. And if while you're there you have chemistry, you might say, "Hey, this is fun. Let's go continue it at dinner." And so it gives you an opportunity to have a short date and decide if you want to have a longer date. So the choice of where to go, movies, to us, even though some people still pick movies, it's a terrible place for a first date because you can't talk.
It's not good for the first time to go to.
No, I mean, sure, maybe you can go for a coffee afterwards and talk about the movie. That's a possibility. But you basically spent 2 hours together, unable to talk. So movie, not a good choice, but people still do it. Usually coffee for older people. Younger people maybe go out for ice cream.
Something ice cream.
Short and easy. Oh, and usually you tell one of your friends beforehand. You say, hey, let's say your date is at 5 o'clock. Tell your friends, call me at 5:10. If my date is working well and I like this person, I will just say, oh, hi, I'm busy. Thank you. If my date is awful, I'll say, oh, it's an emergency. Sorry, I have to go. That was my mother.
Excuse.
And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is a real strategy that you can use. So keep that in mind.
And very polite. And don't refuse it face to face directly.
That's right. So just keep that in mind for future dates for you people who are dating. So the answer, they go everywhere. It's no different than really, I think, the interest of young people in China, wherever you feel like going.
Okay. Next topic is what do we do for Valentine's Day?
A tip, if you're ever dating a Westerner, if Valentine's Day is the only special day, you're doing it wrong. Because if you need Valentine's Day to bring your girlfriend chocolates,
chocolate, flowers,
you're doing it all wrong. Bring her flowers on a regular basis. Valentine's Day. Why? We don't need the government to tell us there's a special day to celebrate. We can say, hey, maybe once a month you bring flowers. Maybe once a week if you want, if you can. But Valentine's Day is still a special day. Meaning, even if you bought flowers every week, all year long, if you don't on Valentine's Day, she will probably kill you.
It's extremely important for lovers.
It's the extra special day, and very popular flowers. We don't. Oh, by the way, colors of flowers a lot less important. Number of flowers. It does not need to be 99 roses. It does not need to be 502. It's just any flowers. Even a small bouquet of flowers. Chocolates. It doesn't need to be a big, expensive box of chocolates. It could just be a few chocolates.
Unforgettable.
Yes, the English phrase, it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. Some people, they might propose marriage on Valentine's Day. Or, they might do really special things. If they are wealthy, maybe they buy a car.
Oh, wow.
I mean, people, it depends on what you feel, what you can afford, what you think they will like. Some women don't want you to buy an entire car. There's flowers and a card. So 3 main things: flowers, some sort of card with, you write a special note,
right,
and some sort of treat, chocolate, cake, cheesecake, something, something sweet, right?
Right.
Those are the three things. And, anything you do above that, beyond that, be creative. If you want to give them a massage on Valentine's Day, go ahead. I don't think anybody that's in love with you is going to say, no. I don't want flowers, unless they're mad at you. If they're mad at you, they might say that.
For Valentine's Day, usually here not only lover, just a boyfriend and girlfriend, even couple, not a mistress. Some people including mistress, and so it is not limited to just the normal lover, but also the different lovers relationship all are included, right?
Yes, and in fact, if you're just friends, you might not give a card that says "I love you," but there's nothing stopping you from having a good friend that is a opposite sex, that you have a good relationship, and you say, hey, they're not seeing anyone. They don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You don't want them to feel sad on that day. You can bring them flowers. It's not because you're saying, I love you and I want to be your boyfriend.
Even not a girlfriend and boyfriend, doesn't matter. You can give flowers to anyone in this day.
Yeah, you're just saying, hey, I care about you. You're a friend.
Yeah.
And you're not going to pick roses. Roses definitely do have a more boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife feel. But you can pick maybe sunflowers or some other bouquet, and perfectly okay.
So we don't have to always use rose or some special flowers.
No, absolutely not. In fact, many women have flowers that are their favorite that aren't roses.
Yeah.
So, you might say, I like lilies.
Oh.
I like hydrangea. Okay.
I love tulips very much.
Tulips, very popular.
Yeah. Very colorful.
So it's important to know enough about the person that you're in love with or that you're their friend to know what kind of flowers they would really enjoy most.
Yeah.
But flowers, card, sweets, and if you have the budget, or you enjoy doing it, even going to dinner.
Okay.
You take the person out to dinner.
Okay, hold on. I can say firstly, someone 小芬 and 王阳 还有东方不败 and maybe 5 or 6 audience give us tips. Let's say thanks to all of these audience. And what's more, seems someone also lived. Some people. Let me say. Let me repeat.
After the video, I will take a look at your comments, and I can reply after.
Okay, after we may. Anyway, fine. We should show our thanks to these people, and
yes, thank you.
Yeah, let's and give 20 seconds for our friends to forward our links to other WeChat groups. 咱们再给10到20秒钟，让朋友们把这些链接转发到其他的群里。就是我们在点右上角这个点呢，可以转发到其他各群里。那么也感谢朋友的打赏，打赏的地方呢是在左下角有个赏字这儿。咱们给20到30秒的时间。Okay, 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Okay, let's come back to our topic. How long until Americans become intimate? Here, intimate, what do you mean? Intimate means sexual relationship or sex? Okay.
Yeah, or kissing even, but beyond kissing, so sex.
Okay.
Before I talk about that, I just want to say that the comment that was someone had submitted that talked about sort of what happens after marriage and the self-centeredness of the couple. One of the things that's very interesting to notice in future relationships, when you had single child families, the single child grows up with the parents giving all attention to one child.
Okay.
There's no dynamic there where that child and siblings must exist together in harmony. So usually, as you have other children, let's say 2 or 3, they learn how to behave around each other, to share responsibility. So it's a little. My dad is an only child.
Yeah.
My mom is one of 13. 13 siblings.
Wow, so many siblings.
Someone was very busy. So two different attitudes toward life. My father got all the attention, always. My mother had to learn that she's not always the center of attention. And so, when people like this get married, they have a different perspective. So anyway, that's how I wanted to respond to that comment. As far as Americans and intimacy, so there used to be something called the 3-day rule.
Okay.
And it basically meant that you would wait at a minimum 3 days before you would contact someone for a second date. So you didn't want to seem too anxious. Ooh, but you don't want to seem like, I don't care.
So
I don't care.
you still need some patience.
Yes, used to be 3 days. Then it went down to 2 days. Now, on average, people wait about 2 days, ask for a second date. Depends on the family and the children, whether or not the boy will ask or the girl. If the girl is very strong and independent, she'll ask. But otherwise, she will wait for the boy to ask, which is a more traditional method. Sex, usually, on average, 8 dates.
Oh.
Remember, that's an average.
Average.
So some people
okay.
are having, some people on the first date.
Oh wow.
some people on 16th date. But on average, the 8th date is the current average for intimacy in the U.S. And by the way, this is unmarried. This is just dating. They're traditional, very traditional, and religious families. Usually, no sex
before marriage.
Until you're married.
Okay.
But I know many young men and women that were friends who grew up in religious families who didn't tell their parents. But
on the ground, still have sex with
before marriage, because they're not. The parents.
This nature, human nature,
in the back of their head. Yeah.
Right.
So, but figure for a Westerner, it's not uncommon that average is about 8 dates.
Average,
not,
yeah.
But yeah, by the way, it's not forced in the sense that if you're dating a Westerner, it's not like they're going to say, okay, it's 8th date. Let's go.
We're not a machine.
Let's go to bed.
Depends,
Let's
case
go
by
to
case.
bed. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's when the couple is comfortable
Yeah.
to be at that point in relationship. So you know, if someone makes you uncomfortable, especially a Westerner, go like this. Get rid of them. So yeah, that's it. 8 days or 8 dates on average. The next topic.
Who pays for the first date?
So what I've done is I made a list.
Oh.
That list is in order by popularity. So it is most popular to take turns. One day you pay, one day they pay. The next most popular is guy always pays. The next is Dutch, where you split the bill.
Yeah, respectively.
The
Half and
next
half.
is based on, yes, the next is whoever earns the most. You have the best job, you pay. And at the bottom of the list, and totally not surprising to any American, the girl pays. That very rarely is something we would expect. Like an American man would never expect it. If it happens, if the girl offers, we might say, no worry, I will take care of it. Or we might say, okay, great, thank you. But, for me, it was a mix of the first and second. It was take turns and I pay, which is almost like saying sometimes the guy pays, sometimes the girl pays. Same thing. But so it depends on your upbringing. It depends on your tradition within your family and your significant other, your boyfriend or girlfriend, their family tradition, which may be different from your own. Maybe
but in China usually maybe number one or most of the cases I think still as a guy, the guy should male should pay for the bill. Most cases, and sometimes maybe Dutch go Dutch pay bills by themselves.
There's an American comedian who made a joke, and he said, women want to get the same pay as men. They want to be paid the same amount.
Yeah.
But he said, guys need to be paid more.
Yeah.
Because when they go on dates, they pay for everything.
Yeah. So in China, usually guys pay the bill.
So they need to make more money just to pay for the dates. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, but it does make sense.
And for some business appointment, maybe usually also depends. Sometimes the highest income, number one. The second is the guy pays the bill. So maybe the third. Nowadays, more and more young generation may like going Dutch, same following American culture.
Do you know one of the reasons in America why Dutch has some popularity is because especially for women, when a woman goes on a date with a man and he pays everything, there is an uneasy feeling that she owes him something. And even though she shouldn't, she still feels like she owes him something. And that's a terrible feeling. They don't want to feel like, oh, he paid for the date. Now, if he wants to kiss me, what do I do? You know, do I have to kiss him? He paid. Instead, by going Dutch, they're saying, we paid equally, so don't expect me to do anything later.
Yeah.
If you want a kiss, and I don't want to give you a kiss, so that's some of the reasoning behind Dutch is trying to remove that feeling of owing the other person. You know, and also, by the way, when you take turns, taking turns is nothing more than going Dutch.
Yeah.
When it's every other dinner, right? half of the time you pay, half of the time they pay. It's the same result, executed differently.
Okay. And one topic is is it typical for couples to live together while dating?
Oh, so the next two slides.
Yeah.
I want to show you. They have tables on them.
Oh, yeah.
So the first table is young people, 18 to 24 years old. The red line is married.
Married.
The blue line is unmarried. Years ago, when, 1960s, it was much more popular for married, partners, basically, to live together, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But unmarried, almost nobody. However, you can see over the last 40 plus years, the married living together, it's become less of a importance.
Yeah.
But with unmarried, look at this. Unmarried is now more common, and it's it is something that, if you go to the next slide, is the same situation.
Yeah.
For 25 and I think it's 25 to 34 years old, and so basically you have a decline in one and a rise in the other, meaning in the U.S. it is more and more common to live together even if you're unmarried. In fact, some people believe that when you live together, you get to know each other on a whole new level.
Right.
And it's at that point that you can really truly see if you love that person.
Right.
Does he have bad habits? Does she have bad habits? Do they not clean the house? Do they not help clean? Do they leave their clothing all over?
Cannot endure each other, maybe.
Yes. And so think of living together before marriage in America. It's almost like a trial marriage. Right? It's a marriage before marriage.
Yeah.
And it's just no paper, no document.
Right.
And when you have that experience, you're going to find out quickly, do you want to spend years with this person?
Right.
And then, if you get married, at least you know who you're getting married to.
Right. So trial marriage is still very necessary for with such kind of a period. People will know if get along with each other comfortable or not.
Yeah. Yes, and it's not unless someone has very specific beliefs. It is not frowned upon. It's not looked at badly. So if you're an American and you said to someone else, "Oh, we're just living together,"
Yeah.
chances are the person you just said it to is also just living together.
Yeah.
If they're married, they're not going to go, "Oh, you're living together before you're married?" No. Nope. That would be less common. That would be a less common response now. So, there are more people living together unmarried in the U.S.
Yeah.
And, this, again, bad, good,
Yeah.
it depends on who you are.
Right. Maybe 2 years later, if they lived together and without a paper, without certificate, it will become the true, the real, still legally, still, and
Yes,
yeah.
There's in English, there's a term, a legal term.
Oh, legal term.
Common law, common
law.
marriage.
Yeah. Okay, common law. Yeah.
It is every state has different laws.
Right.
Some states might say 8 years. Some states might say 10 years. Some states will say never. But in the states that are common law, if you live together for the legally defined number of years, then by default, you are now legally married. But what people do is they check the law in their state to see, okay, if I'm going to stay with this man for 10 years, I might end up legally married, even though there's no paper and there's no ceremony. So you do have to know the laws of your state.
Yeah, okay. And one question, how many days until there is a relationship?
So I heard someone had told me that in China, it's sometimes after 1, 2 dates, sort of, okay, you like me, I like you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that true? Or is it depends?
It's true. Someone, yes, it's true.
Okay. So in the States, usually you will occasionally have people that after 1 or 2 dates they say, "Oh, okay, let's see each other we say see each other on a regular basis." It's our way of saying a relationship, dating exclusively, not dating other people. But for quite a few people, you want to date for a while, before you consider it like a long-term. Think of it as short-term relationship, long-term relationship. So you can date for 2 to 3 months, 6 months, and consider it short-term. It's not super serious. And then at some point you decide, okay, we'll be exclusive. We're not going to see anyone else. And now you enter long-term relationship. So how many? It's going to depend on the couple. But it's not usually just a couple days. It's going to be, several dates, even sometimes several months of dating before they say, okay, this is a long-term relationship.
Yeah. And what reasons do people give for breaking up?
Oh boy, it's a list.
Wow, so many reasons.
It's a list as long as my arm. Probably the number one is cheating. But there's a variety. Physical or emotional abuse, someone who just says terrible things all the time.
Okay, first, the cheating. Cheating here usually means has more than one boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Maybe dating several people at the same time simultaneously. Maybe that is cheating.
Yes, and the key though is without permission from the other person, because there's the concept of an open relationship. An open relationship is when both people say, okay, we will date each other, but you can also date other people.
Right.
A closed relationship is we are exclusive. We are not dating anyone but each other. And in that case, cheating is seeing people without permission from the other person.
Yeah.
But if you are in a closed relationship, they've already told you no cheating by the very nature of the relationship. So, but nonetheless, for whatever, we'll go over in the marriage and divorce presentation, we'll go over how some of this comes to be, why people in America might cheat. But for this presentation, it's just a list. And the cheating, probably one of the number one. Physical, hitting people, like hitting their girlfriend, or being very verbally mean, saying mean things. You're ugly, you're a loser, you aren't ever going to find any other man who wants you. That's physical and emotional abuse. Not supportive is if you have a dream.
Not helpful.
They say
usually
you're never going to make that. You're not going to achieve that. Don't do that. Why bother? You're not. It's almost 2 and 3 go hand in hand. Emotional abuse and not being supportive are very closely related. 4 is they don't do any effort. They don't show any love, which is amazing. Imagine you're dating and that person doesn't really seem interested in you. You should ask yourself, why am I in this relationship?
Right.
So 4 is just laziness. I don't put in the effort.
Right.
5 is
grow apart.
5. Yes, I've personally, this is for me the most common. It is at 20 years old to think that you are going to be together at 70 years old. If you are, amazing. That's amazing.
Right.
But every 10 years of your life, 30, 40, 50, you change as a person. You grow. What you like at 20 is not necessarily what you like at 30. And so
everything is changing. Maybe, for example, when you in senior high school, one girl and one boy love each other. But later, they go to different cities or different countries to study, overseas even. So they have to separate from each other. After graduation from college, they also apart. Every different case by case, and many reasons may cause to breaking up.
And it doesn't have to be physical separation. It can be emotional separation. If two people are 20, let's say, and they get along, they love the same things, but over the next 10 years, they begin to like new and different things. They begin to dislike certain things about each other. That's what we call growing apart. You're diverging.
Yeah.
You know, versus converging at the beginning of the relationship, you now begin to diverge.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. If you try to force the other person to not change,
Yeah.
they're going to dislike you for it. They're going to have animosity. It's a buildup of resentment, of anger. He's trying to change me. He's trying to change me. If we change over time,
Yeah.
you either have to accept the change and say, okay,
Yeah.
they're different, but I accept it. Or you grow apart. And so that's another reason why people split up. Poor communication, of course, if you're not, speaking to each other well, and it's all about arguments and disagreements. And then the last one, other dishonesty. If you're lying to each other, if you're stealing from each other, meaning, let's say you're dating and your boyfriend uses your card without your permission.
Wow.
that you might get very upset, and now you might tell him, don't do it again. If he keeps doing it, you're going to say, this isn't going to work. This is crazy. I've told him, and he does not listen. So that would be the kind of dishonesty in number 7.
Oh.
But many reasons. It's just like, same thing in China. We're people.
Oh.
There are many reasons why we don't work out. So,
Yeah.
So
for me, I can tell you about the 7. For me, I just made one girlfriend, and now she is my wife and my son's mom, and just one girlfriend once. And I can tell you what I did when we were dating. Even we were just a girlfriend and boyfriend, I sent my card, my Visa card to her, and let her to keep it. And each time when we are trying to spend money, she can pay. Just use my card, and we quickly get the distance between us quickly shortened, and we got married very quickly. That is, I told her one sentence, that is, where my money is, where my heart it is. So she thought, since that we trust each other, and even I have given money to her. So she thinks, okay, we believe each other forever, and we got married very soon. So this is my what I did. If we want to shorten the distance, that is, money is extremely important. Yeah.
Well, and the trust. See, even though it was money that created your feeling of trust,
Yeah.
and her feeling of trust, ultimately, the trust, regardless of how it's built, once it's built, that's a very strong bond. But we have to think of trust like an automobile.
Mm-hmm.
You need to maintain it. You need
Yeah.
to keep it in good condition.
Yeah.
Because if you let it become broken, if
Yeah.
you break it, you will never build it back to where it was. Here's your trust today.
Yeah.
If you break it and it goes here, it will never again, no matter how hard you try, it will never get here again. You can maybe get it here or here, but it will never again be here. And it's true in it's human nature. Once someone does something distrustful, in the back of our mind, we are saying, how can I ever really trust this person ever again? And that for a relationship, any kind, personal, business, anything, friendship, that can be the beginning of the end of that relationship. So trust is it's a powerful bond.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. And here you also. Oh, what's up? Not finished yet. This last. Maybe we should to continue to. I'm not sure what's the reason. It disappeared once again. Let me try to connect him once again. Still one part left. Okay, let me finish the last part. What's the reason it doesn't work? Okay. One question is a question for you. Now that you have some understanding of dating in America, what do you agree with most or least? Maybe we can answer the question next time. We can discuss about it. Today, let me summarize something we have discussed today. 今天我们主要讨论了这么多，关于中国人和美国人男女约会的这些事儿。那么可能case by case different 国家不同的国家还有不同的地区呢，它的风俗习惯大家有很大的不同。如果大家有不同的观点，也可以留在这儿。我们可以关于有几个观点呢，我们可以下次再详细的再补充上。刚才呢，可能因为我们知道 Joe 呢 is located in America, so we cannot connect him right now immediately. We can discuss several questions next time. And today, let's say goodbye. And tomorrow morning about 10:35, we can continue next conversation, next topic about marriage and divorce, etc. Okay, so much for today's conversation. And hopefully you can forward our link to more friends and let them also enjoy the program and to improve English. Okay, say goodbye to everyone. Thank you. 我们明天再见。好，我们感谢大家的今天的这些沟通。